Welcome to With the First Pick, where we're going team by team to build a perfect 7-round mock draft. Who's on the clock today? Breaking down the Buffalo Bills, their biggest needs, best fits, and sleeper picks that could make their draft. And by the time we're done, you'll have a complete blueprint for how they can dominate draft weekend. That's Mike Renner. I'm Ryan Wilson. Mike, the Bills have 10 picks. And if history is any guide, Bills fans are going to hate what you decide to do here. So I'm going to be the assistant general manager, and I will let you decide the fate of a team that always feels like they're about a half a player from getting over that hump. They're not quite there yet. Cornerback, defensive line seem like obvious needs to me. Maybe you feel differently.
No, I don't. And I would be surprised if they made all 10 of these picks. This is a team that doesn't necessarily need a lot of players, right? They need good players though, at certain positions, but they got depth, like whether it's at wide receiver, whether it's at defensive line, whether it's in their secondary. There's a lot of like second sort of wave of guys on this roster that could step up and fill a role, if someone goes down. So it's not necessarily that they need depth. They just need good players.
Yeah. And, I had forgotten they signed Josh Palmer, who's I think has an opportunity to be even better than he was when he was in Los Angeles, coming out of Tennessee. They have Khalil Shakir, who they re-upped, and understandably so. Keon Coleman's going into year 2. When you talk about those wide receivers, you know about the depth they have at tight end. He's a former first-round pick on the tight end position. Running back is fine. And then when you get to the cornerback, you have Dane Jackson listed as a starter here. I don't know if you want him to be the starter for the entirety of the season, and maybe even safety could be an opportunity to improve this the secondary. And I'm just looking at the board here, and then Kelvin Banks is staring in the face. I don't think you need him here, but that's a curious development. We'll see what happens in real life. Trey Amos is there, guy that I like a lot, a big, strong, physical cornerback there. Hey, let's look quickly at safety, producer Striker, just for fun. Okay, so the top guy is Kevin Winston Jr., and then Mike's guy Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame, Andrew McCuba.
He hates Aman Warry. What are your thoughts on Aman Warry?
Oh, wait, he's still there?
Yeah, he hates Nick Aman Warry on this draft board is why. He has him all the way down at 67. I like him, and I like him specifically for the Buffalo Bills because of how just undersized those starting safeties are. Now, you did draft Cole Bishop in the second round last year. Honestly, they could be – you could play Taylor Rapp in the slot, though, if you move Teron Jackson outside. You have some versatility in that secondary. I don't know. I think that my eyes go to Nick Aman Warry, though.
I'm glad you went down to number 4, which is a shock to me because I like him a lot. I would absolutely take him here at pick 30. Yep. And the versatility coming downhill, he can play in space. He has ball skills, even though he's 220 or 230, whatever he has, ran in the 4.3s, which is bonkers. Yeah, all right, never mind. Let's not overthink it. Nick Aman Warry, and you can move him around in that secondary and play him closer to the line of scrimmage if you want. All right, next up, pick 56. All right, so I think we've talked about Omar Norman a lot. He's undersized, but I think he's super twitched up in terms of the way he plays off the ball. I don't know what you feel about him here in terms of being next to Ed Oliver, who's also quote-unquote undersized. But what are your thoughts or where do your eyes go when we talk about this number 56 pick?
I call DT a need for sure for the Buffalo Bills. It's a nose tackle, though, right? I don't think you need Dwayne Carter, Ed Oliver. Those are penetrators. Those are 3 techs. You need the guy who's a stout, hold the point. You need an Alfred Collins from Texas, right? You need that type of defensive tackle if you're going to attack here. Omar Norman, not that type of defensive tackle. Now, I'm a little embarrassed we went Nick Aman Warry in round 1 because I don't have Kevin Winston Jr. that far off from him in round 2.
Yeah,
I would expect him to be off the board in real life. But I do think you could address the secondary still here and go Benjamin Morrison. I obviously has the injury risk with his hip. You're going to have to clear that. But his tape is first-round tape, in my opinion. So this would be a revamping of the secondary wholesale if you draft him.
Yeah, he's a better player coming out than Kyrie Elam was when he went at the bottom of the first few years ago. And you're right, the hip injury is a concern, but you watch him play when he's healthy, and you're like, okay, where's the issue? He played as well against Marvin Harrison Jr. as anyone had in college. In that matchup, let's go Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame.
All right, we're good in the secondary.
We're good in the secondary. Right. Now things are opening up. Pick 62. Hey, let's go to defensive tackle real quick here. Defensive line striker. Let's see what we got. See if we got any big guys. Oh, there's your guy, Alfred Collins.
Yeah, I think this one makes a lot of sense at this point. Call it maybe a little early for him. This is about where I have him. I think he might actually be the 62nd player on my draft board. So I think it's just such a perfect fit for what they need. And just a team that, could stand to get better against the run.
Yeah, it's funny. I like him a little bit earlier in day 2, and I like his teammate Vernon Broughton. He's right behind him on this list we're looking at here. So if this is the range, it feels like a good landing spot. You mentioned in the 60s, and here he is at 62. All right, we're just revamping this defense. 3 picks in. Alfred Collins, nose tackle, defensive lineman out of Texas. All right, headed to round 4, pick 109. So we're just checking off boxes here. I mean, they got Joey Bosa. Do you want to add Kyle Williams to the Khalil Shakir slot room?
It doesn't feel fair. He's not going to be there at pick 109, right? We got to put some realism on this. I'm not to shout out and hate on the PFF mock draft sim too much, but like he's going higher than pick 109. We could just be real.
Let's look at the wide receivers, though, Striker. Let's see what's out there. And again, he's sort of going to do the same things that Shakir would do too. So it may just be doubling up. It feels like.
Yeah, I think he's more of an outside wide receiver than Shakir.
Okay,
he did play that at Washington State. I'm also curious to see what the offensive line looks like at this point in time, because while they don't need a starter, this obviously isn't a point where you're drafting a starter. That is one position group where they are thin. Where they don't have necessarily the depth you'd ideally like to have along the offensive line. Oh gosh, Logan Brown, I'd be interested in.
I like
don't know
Logan
what
Brown.
Your thoughts are on Logan Brown? I have him as top 100 player here.
Yep.
And I think he has tackle guard versatility to where he can play a few different positions.
Absolutely. And in fact, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure his arms came in shorter than some teams like for the tackle position. So that may.
I want to say 33 and a half if I had to guess.
All right, let's see. I feel like, let's see. Logan was, 33 and 7/8. Okay, so I was thinking about someone else. Perfect. Well done. Yeah, my comp for him, interesting, because my comp for him was Graham Barton, in that he plays outside, but you can move him inside, and he's a great athlete. I love it. Wisconsin transfer. 99th percentile in a shot put. I feel like that's what you need your offensive lineman to do in high school.
Yes, it is. That and wrestling.
All right. It's going to be hilarious when Kyle Williams is there in the 7th round and you refuse to take him.
Let's just take him now. We'll just do it. Can we just do it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so absurd, but if he's on the board.
So you like Kyle a lot more than me. Like, would you take Kyle in the 2nd round, Kyle Williams?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would take him Kyle in the 2nd. And I don't like him even as much as Chris Sims, so I'm not even the highest, but I love his tape. And I think he goes, I do honestly think if I had to bet on draft day, I bet he goes somewhere in the 2nd round.
Interesting. All right. Well, then in this case, it's a steal. All right. This is pick 132. Is that where we are, Striker, or 169? I can't read. 169. Thank you. Okay. So we are now in the comp range for the 5th round picks. And so we've gotten everything. I mean, we checked all the big needs. We've gotten safety, gotten corner, gotten defensive line, gotten wide receiver, gotten offensive line help. What's best? So we have safety at the top. Ty Robinson's another big body. Cam Jackson's another big body defensive lineman. Tyler Shuck is probably older than Josh Allen. He's still sitting there. Anything stick out?
Oh gosh. We'll scroll down a little bit, see who else is still on the board.
I do like
here.
Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, the edge rusher out of Georgia.
Okay. Yeah. I feels like they draft day 3 every year, an undersized linebacker. So we got to keep that in our cap, get one of those by the end of the draft. It feels like they draft like a zone corner every year on day 3, one of those two. So that's where my head goes. But
let's look at the linebacker, Striker, see what we got. Because there's a bunch of really undersized athletic linebackers in this class, which feels like which is in every class. Danny Stutzman feels like a Buffalo Bill.
Oh, he's still on the board? Oh, we got to go Danny Stutzman. Yeah.
All right, Oklahoma linebacker Danny Stutzman, who's actually getting some top 50.
I think we're just gaming the mock draft sim. Danny Stutzman not undersized though, but
that's also been one of the knocks when you stupidly read through the comments like I do. That guy obviously isn't going to be there, so you shouldn't take him. I was like, well, in real life, are we going to be angry at the 31 other teams that pass on a player that we love? Yeah. All right. The very next pick 170. We're right back at it.
Oh gosh! All right. Well, we got our undersized, not undersized, but our linebacker.
Find a zone corner now.
Do we throw a shot at Quinn Ewers here?
Yeah, absolutely.
We got Turbo, but why not?
Wait, is that Trubisky's nickname?
Yeah, Turbo, Mitch Trubisky.
I had no idea. He was the
whatever the. We can all agree, Kyle McCord's not going to be there at this pick. He's gone. All right.
My guy, Kyle McCord. Thank you. So the current quarterback room is Turbo. I love that. Shane Buechele and Mike White. But yeah, there's room for Quinn Ewers. And by the way, I went back and watched Quinn Ewers against Alabama in 2022. He's a top 5 player. He just got to stay healthy.
He makes no sense.
And that's a situation where, it feels like a Howie Roseman, play him in the preseason, and then you flip him for a 3rd-round pick in a year or something.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 more picks to go. Pick 173, man. They are bunching these 5th-round comp picks together.
Ooh.
We can go any direction you want. All right. I'm going to
Dawkins here.
Yeah, let's get the edge rusher out of Georgia. Let's get Tyrion Ingram, Dawkins, just to add some depth there. He's a good player that we've hardly talked about. I think he was at the Senior Bowl. He did go to one of the All-Star games. He's a really good player. And 2 more to go, 177 and 206.
All right, what are we looking at here?
So scroll down a little bit. Striker, let's see what we got here.
I'd love to throw one more interior offensive lineman at this mix.
Yeah, let's do it.
Guy in the fold. It's probably where my eyes would go for this team. If you're going to keep all those picks, I love either Monheim or Fairchild, honestly. If those guys,
yeah, I like Fairchild better than Jonah out of SC, only because our buddy Pete won't quit talking about him. Miles Frazier's a good player too at LSU. Let's go Dylan Fairchild out of Georgia, the guard there, striker, and then finally pick 206. No 7th-round picks for the Bills. I don't even know. How about
we could even make a roster at this point?
Right.
What do we got? We're full up everywhere.
How is Zay Frazier still there? That doesn't feel possible. This actually does feel sort of realistic. What do you think about Malachi Moore? Super smart safety, just physically lacks all the.
Yeah, another versatile.
Maybe he starts on the practice squad and works his way up, but he's a super smart kid. Just the 4.59 may hold him back in terms of him being available in this range here.
Cool.
All right, let's see what we got, Striker.
A+.
Checked every single box, it feels like. Can't envision a world where Bills fans won't love this mock draft. Nick Emanwari is available at 30. Feels like a layup. Benjamin Morrison feels like a layup. Wait, F, what are we doing? Do you know why PFF is down on Emanwari?
Trev, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I gotta reach out to him after this and see.
Holy Moses. Alfred Collins feels like a steal. Is that a D+? Am I reading that right?
That is.
Logan Brown with the almost 34-inch arms. Great call by Mike. Then Mike's guy, Kyle Williams, adds to the wide receiver room. Danny Stutzman feels like a Buffalo Bills linebacker type. Quinn Ewers, you flop him for a 3rd-round pick in 12 months from now. You got help from 2 Georgia players on both sides of the ball. Then Malachi Moore, another SEC player to round out the 10 picks for the Buffalo Bills. That wraps up the Perfect Bills draft class. And make sure to subscribe to NFL on CBS on YouTube and download with the first pick wherever you get your podcasts. And stay tuned for more perfect mock drafts because we are hitting all 32 teams.